Okay, welcome to another MECH 1000 video. In this video we're going to look at chapter 2 of the textbook, which primarily deals with circles and rectangles. We'll look at making circles in this video. So again, we're going to start a drawing using the standard AutoCAD template. As a reminder, there are a lot of different templates you can choose from, but we're just going to go with the default acad.dwt and just click Start Drawing. So we're going to look at how to make circles in our drawings, and on the Home tab, on the Draw toolbar, where we learned how to make lines, there's also a command for circle. Now with circle, you can click on this pull down menu here, and you can see that there are a variety of options for how to make circles. The standard default method is the center radius method. So when you begin to execute the command, if you look at the command prompt, it tells you to specify the center point for the circle. So there are a variety of ways you can do that. You can always key in coordinates, or you can click in a random point. I'm going to be a little bit more specific with my selection by turning on my snap mode so that my cursor snaps to an exact coordinate. Now, it doesn't always matter where you start a drawing, unless it's specified in the instructions. You can pretty much start it anywhere. So I'll just choose a point right here and click. And as I drag my cursor out, it is the farther away from that center point I get, the larger the radius is. And that will allow me to either, again, click by snapping, and the dynamic input there is showing me what the length of the radius is. So if I kind of zoom back in here, you can see my radius is 0.5, or I can jump out to 1, or 1.5, or 2, or so on. I can also use the keyboard. Maybe if I don't want to mess around with moving the cursor to the exact right size, if I know I want a 5-inch radius, I just type in 5, enter. And so that makes a circle with a 5-inch radius. The next method is to specify the center and diameter. So if I choose the same center, and now I click 5, you can see I've made a circle now that's half the size of the first one I made. The first one I made has a radius of 5, and the second one has a diameter of 5. I commonly see students mixing this up. If the assigned drawing tells you to draw a circle with a diameter of 5, I see students accidentally doing a radius of 5 and ending up with a circle that's twice as big as it should be. So just be aware of what you are choosing. Another way, if you're like me, I don't like messing with all these different options here. What I like to do, and a lot of this has to do with the fact that these options were not present in AutoCAD back when I learned. Back when I learned AutoCAD, there was only one circle command. And if you wanted to change your input, you have to use your keyboard. So if you look down here at the command prompt, it is telling you to specify the center point. Okay, I'll do that. I'll choose the same center. And the next thing says to specify radius, or you can see it has the word diameter here. And the letter D is in blue. So what I can do is, if I'm drawing a circle here, and rather than inputting the radius, I would rather input the diameter, I can hit D, the letter D on my keyboard, enter, and now it gives me the option to input a diameter instead of a radius. So maybe I'll put in a diameter of 10 this time. I should have chosen a different diameter because that's going to overlap with my circle I made earlier that had a radius of 5. So I'll undo that. The undo command is up here. It also, if you hover over a command, you can see a lot of AutoCAD commands also have keyboard shortcuts. You can see there that the letter for undo is U, so you can just use your keyboard to hit U, enter, to undo a command. But I'll come back here and make that circle again. I'll choose the diameter, and this time I'll choose a diameter of, let's say, 15. Okay, so you can make circles by choosing the center point and the radius, or the diameter. Those are the two most commonly used methods of making circles. The rest of these aren't really used that much. At least I don't use them very much. I don't think you will need to use them very much, but I'll show you anyways. We can choose a 2-point method, where by clicking on 2 points, we are essentially choosing 2 of the quadrant points of the circle. A circle has a center, and it has 4 quadrant points at the top, right, bottom, and left. If you think of it as a clock face, that's like 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock are the 4 quadrant points. So by choosing to make a circle using 2 points, what you are doing is specifying 2 of the quadrant points that are opposed to each other. We could also do a 3-point. So with our third click, we can create the circle. That to me has some pretty rare applications. I don't know when you would need to do that. Then we've got tangent, tangent, radius. So let's say I have a couple lines drawn. Draw 2 lines there like that. And I want to make a circle that is tangent to each of those lines. So tangent means that I want the circle basically to barely touch, just graze the edge of these lines. So looking at the command prompt, when I use this method of making a circle, it asks me to specify a point on an object for the first tangent. So I can choose any point on that line, any point on that line, and then I need to specify the radius of the circle. So I'll specify a radius of 2 and hit enter, and it makes a circle that is perfectly tangent to each of those 2 lines with a radius of 2. And finally, the last one is tangent, tangent, tangent. So maybe I'll draw a triangle. I'll draw a right triangle. And I want to have a circle that fits perfectly inside that triangle. I can choose tangent, 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 and then I just have to specify 3 points on those lines, and it makes a circle that is perfectly tangent inside them. Now keep in mind that circles can be tangent to curves as well as straight lines. So let me show you something here. I can highlight this circle, and it highlights grips. These blue squares are called grips at the 4 quadrant points, as well as the center. By clicking on the circle and highlighting it, I can grab the center grip by clicking and move my cursor and click again. So I've got 3 circles here. I can make a circle that is tangent. I can try to see if it's geometrically possible. Yeah, there we go. I can make a circle that is perfectly tangent to all 3 of those circles. So a circle can be tangent to a line, or it could be tangent to another curve. As I said, I feel like most of these are pretty rarely used. The first 2 are predominantly what you're going to need. And in fact, I generally just use the first one. And if, as I'm making the circle, I feel like, oh, you know what? I'd rather input a diameter instead of a radius, I just type the letter D. So I choose the center point, then hit D, enter, and I can specify the diameter. Okay, so that's pretty much it for making circles. We'll look at rectangles in the next video.